Even though this is not the first fall video I've posted since fall officially started, this is my first time sitting on camera and saying,
guys, it's fall time.
It's here. It has finally arrived. This is my absolute favorite time of the year. I don't know what it is like for you. Maybe you love summer, maybe you love winter, maybe where you live there are no real seasons. But fall time is where it's at for this guy. I love when the temperature starts to drop. I love when the trees start to change color. I love the clothing we get to wear in the fall, the stuff we get to break out that's a little bit warmer, cozier, maybe more fashionable. More on clothing later. And as per this video, I love the fragrances that we get to start reaching for on a more regular basis. Now, fall is a transition season, so there are some days where maybe it's a little bit warmer, especially during the daytime, while the evenings get a little cooler. And obviously, as the fall moves along, things get cooler and cooler. So I have a range of fragrances that cover a range of scenarios and maybe even temperatures for you to check out, for you to consider. And as I've done earlier this year, I'm doing this type of list a little differently than I've done in the past. And honestly, I'm doing it for me because it's just more interesting, and my hope is that it's more interesting for you, rather than just saying, hey guys, here's 10 fall fragrances that I love and you need to buy them. No, I'm trying to keep it more realistic, hopefully more relatable. I've split up the 10 fragrances into 4 categories of my wearing that I'm going to be interfacing with throughout the fall. The first one is tried and true. These fragrances have been on this YouTube channel, in my collection, in videos from years ago to today, and it is what it sounds like. They're tried and true. They're some of my absolute favorites. You see them pop up in videos all the time, so they're nothing really all that new, but they have to be here because they're amazing. Then we have new and exciting fragrances. These are new to my collection. I haven't even really worn them yet. Maybe once, maybe twice, if that. One of them I haven't even opened yet, so you'll see that. And they're just fragrances that I'm really excited to get to know better and really get some sprays out this fall. Then we have revisited. These are fragrances that I've had in my collection for quite a while, but maybe they've kind of fell off the rotation. Maybe they've fallen out of being featured in videos like this, so they're not getting a ton of limelight these days. And I want to take a concerted effort to bring them back into the fold and put them in front of you, and more importantly, wear them for myself because I'm tired of them collecting dust. And the final category is what I call not sure yet. These are fragrances that are relatively new. Maybe I've had them for up to a year, most likely less time, and I'm not sure how I feel about them. I'm not sure if I love them. I might like them at the very least, but I have some reservations that I want to kind of iron out with some more wearings during the season. Everything will be linked in the description as per usual, or just in the video in general. You'll see things popping up. So how about we dive right into it? First up, we have a new and exciting fragrance. This is new to my collection. I haven't even worn it yet. I've sprayed it once or twice, but I haven't given it a full wearing because it's been too warm out. It's finally cooling off, so this will be getting some wear soon, and I will be reporting back. This is called Timber from Amouage. I know very little about this fragrance because, again, I haven't really worn it, so I'm not getting here on camera and saying, hey guys, this fragrance is amazing, you need to go buy it. All I can say is that I like what I've tried so far, I like what I've smelled thus far, and I do recommend, just from that you try it for yourself, that you grab a sample. This smells a little bit like Ebon Fumé to me, mixed with a touch of luster from Amouage. So their own DNA mixed with a little bit of Tom Ford. That's the vibe I get here. I get this smoky woodiness, almost like a smoldering tree, like smoldering wood from a tree. You get the smokiness, you get the almost charred nature of the wood, but it's not all that dark. So don't get me wrong there. There is a smoothness here, almost borderline creamy, kind of like a sandalwood, a touch of an aromatic nature in here as well. So it's not just socked in dark, dense, heavy wood. There is a little bit of freshness, so to speak, but not a fresh fragrance. Overall, a woody fragrance. It does remind me of just being out in the forest or out in the elements. It's tree-like, it's cypressy and fir and all kinds of things. Very transportive, very well put together. Maybe a touch of incense in there. You can't have an Amouage without incense. It's a beautiful scent from what I'm smelling so far. Again, these are just my first initial impressions of the bit of sniffing I've done with it, so more to come as I get to know it better. But more importantly, with fragrances that I haven't really tried much, I want to know if you've tried this fragrance and what your experience is like. Let me and everyone else know down in the comments. I did want to touch on some of the clothing that I'm wearing right now. This shirt and these pants were sent to me from Into the AM. They are perfect fall staples. We have this long sleeve and this kind of off-white, almost oatmeal like color. I love the way it feels. It's very comfortable, it's very flattering. I believe it will hold its shape when it washes, and it will definitely hold its color, and it's just a very versatile piece to wear for the fall. And they also have these pants. Honestly, these are some of the most comfortable dress-like pants that I've ever worn, period. I think they call these their everyday pant, and it kind of does wear like a slack. It has a slack-like construction to it in terms of the pockets and just the overall cut, but it's so comfortable. It has a nice stretchiness to it. It has a good durability to it, so it makes it very versatile to wear for slightly more dressed up, maybe business casual situations, or you can just kind of throw it on with almost anything if you want to dress up your pant game a little bit without going all the way suit and tie or anything like that. It's a very versatile pant. I'm glad I got it in black because I really needed a new black pant that I can wear with almost anything throughout the fall. So there's going to be a link and a discount code to Into the AM. Up next is a tried and true. I've had this fragrance in my collection for a handful of years now. I've loved it. I didn't always love it. There was years back when I hated this. I had a sample that I could not stand. I revisited it through just going for it and getting a bottle, and I'm so glad I did. This is a masterpiece. This is easily one of the best fragrances Creed has ever released. I don't care what anybody says about it. This is Royal Oud. Now, if you don't like this, then that's totally fair, because I understand I didn't like it at first either, but I don't even care what people might be saying about performance and all that. This is one of those fragrances that is so perfectly crafted. The scent rules this fragrance, and the longevity for me is perfect. I might get 6, maybe pushing 7 hours out of it, which is about all I need it for the occasions I wear it for. It's a very dry, woody fragrance. I'm not wearing very dry, woody fragrances for every occasion every day. It's a very particular scent profile, one that comes off a little bit more elegant, a little bit more gentlemanly, a little bit more sophisticated, and I save that for more special occasions, which never really last more than a few hours, so it's perfect for that. Again, dry and woody, not much oud to my nose. It is more of a cedar wood. I get a lot of pepperiness as well. I think there's pink pepper. There's this green, almost dusty, earthy quality. It's a little bit herbal and a little bit fresh, and a touch of this almost natural tree-like sweetness. I never know what to really attribute that to, but it's a little tiny bit sweet in a woody way, if that makes any sense at all. Maybe it doesn't, but I'm doing my best here. It's a tried and true. Once again, I love this stuff. It's perfect for fall. I can't wait to bust this one out because I can never stay away from it. When the fall time comes back around, I want to know what you think of Royal Oud. Are you a fan of this one? Let me know. Now we have a not sure yet. I'm not sure how I feel about this fragrance just yet. I've had it for a little while, maybe almost a year. And to be honest with you, I've worn it like once. And I think I was a little bit tentative and reserved when I wore it that day. I may have worn like 1 spray, maybe 1.5 sprays, because this fragrance is just very particular. It's a strong personality, not so much in presence. Yes, it is a fairly long-lasting scent that you will smell undeniably, but just the personality, the identity of this scent is very mature, maybe even a little bit stuffy, especially if you spray too much of it. But this is from Guerlain. This is called Habit Rouge Parfum, and this is based on the original Habit Rouge, which is a classic, timeless masterpiece from the house that honestly is very hard to describe. It's kind of like this citrusy, woody, sweet, rich, almost creamy floral fragrance, and it's just a perfect blend of all of those elements together. This takes that DNA and it makes it kind of boozy, and it makes it darker and more bottom heavy and more rich, and there's a lot of vanilla that runs through here, and maybe even a touch more powdery than the originals, and it's just so refined. It's one of those scents that I feel like if I don't wear this with intention, then it will wear me, and I try to avoid my fragrances wearing me at all costs. So I like it, but I just don't know if it vibes with me just yet. So I'm gonna find that out. That is my plan for the fall season. I'm gonna give this a wear. I wanna know if you're a fan of this one. This one's a little polarizing. Not every one of you guys is gonna be able to appreciate it, and that's totally fine, but let me know if you do. Now we have a revisit. I've had this fragrance for at least 2 or 3 years. I've talked about it in years past, but it's been at least a year since I featured this in a video, and I do really like it. I wouldn't call it an absolute love, but I liked it enough to wear it back in the day and to feature it a handful of times, and then new stuff just came into the collection and it kind of got pushed away to the back. But I knew that I would always hold on to this one because I do like it. So I'm going to revisit it to see if I can actually learn to love it. This is from Lark, which maybe you've never heard of. They call this Argentium. The fragrance itself is intoxicating. This is very alluring in an elegant way. There's this touch of citrus, almost like a juicy orange note, paired with this sweet, warm, ambery, spicy oud quality. It is so smooth. The sweetness here is so tamed and well done. It has a nice dry base as it dries on the skin. There might be some aroma chemicals that move through it, maybe ambroxan or something in it that kind of makes it very musky in its sillage, in the way it moves, in the way you kind of detect it around you. It's a perfect fragrance for the evening time when the wind is whipping a little bit and you're going to be outside, but it's not too cold. The whiffs you're going to get in the air and others around you are, again, kind of intoxicating, kind of irresistible in a way. Beautiful scent profile that I look forward to getting reacquainted with. I want to know what you think. If you've tried this fragrance, I'm sure a few of you guys have, but let me know. Another new and exciting fragrance here. This one is not new to the community by any means, and probably not new to most of you, but it is new to me. I finally came around to this fragrance this year to really give it a true try, and I'm so grateful to have it in my collection. This is from Nasomatto and it's called Baraonda. This is probably one of the most hyped niche fragrances ever, and it's easily one of the most hyped from this brand, and I see why. I see the hype. That was the title of my first impressions video that I did as a short. It makes sense to me. I see it now. This is warm, spicy, boozy woodiness. I think whiskey is often credited to the booziness here. People have to kind of guess because we don't get the notes from Nasomatto, but to my nose, it's almost more of like a red wine. And I said that, and I had someone chime in the comments on that first impression saying maybe the cork is alluding to that vibe. I don't know. I can't say for sure, but I get this almost fruity, rich type of boozy quality, warm and spicy, again, woody as it dries down, a little bit sweet in a very elegant way, very unique scent profile, but also one that is not really that hard to understand. This doesn't come off as super niche or super artistic. It's just a very well balanced blend of elements that work really well together, and not a ton of elements. It does have a simplicity to it, but at the same time, it really smells like nothing else. And that is a hard thing to accomplish with a fragrance. Simplicity with uniqueness, you don't see that all the time. And not to mention with accessibility, man, that is a trifecta that is very, very rare. So I gotta give it up for Baraonda from Nasomatto. Let me know if you're a fan of this one. Let's move on to another tried and true. This is from the house of Argos. This fragrance is very seminal for them. It came out just a few years back, and a lot of you guys seem to really love this one. It seems to be a house favorite. I love this one. It's great for fall. It kind of checks all the boxes that most people are looking for when they're spending this kind of money on a fragrance. This is Danae. Danae, again, checks the boxes. What are those boxes? A scent that smells great. It smells of high quality. It smells very attractive and appealing, and something that's fairly easy to wear, but not necessarily generic. What other box does it check? Performance. Longevity is here. If you want to be noticed and you want something that's going to last you the whole day into the night or all night into the next day, this is an easy consideration for that. Now, what does it smell like? It is based on Cistus labdanum, a rich, warm, sticky, kind of brown smelling resinous feel that's ambery and, again, very attractive, maybe with a touch of citrus that kind of brightens it up, maybe freshens it up a little bit. Touch of spice perhaps, and some woods that come off very smooth and creamy. And just the way it hangs in the air, the sillage of this stuff, the way it kind of fills a room, it's undeniable. Now, I wouldn't call it special because it does remind me of maybe a few other things peripherally, but all that being said, once again, not generic. I know there's a gray area in between unique and generic. This kind of sits in there somewhere, but it's a beautiful scent. It's easy to wear, and it's most likely going to deliver as far as performance goes. So if I can recommend one fragrance from Argos that you try, this is a great gateway, but let me know if you're a fan of Danae. We've got a not sure yet. This is one of the newer releases from Fragrance du Bois. They sent it to me a couple months ago. I did a first impressions video, and I like the scent. I don't love the scent, and I'll explain why. This is called Lucius. Now, what I do love about the scent is this bottle. I mean, wow, you can't go wrong with all blacked out with gold accents. That is a timeless look, so great choice with that one. But the scent doesn't really match the bottle, and that's fine. I'm actually not offended by that. But I kind of wish it did in a sense because it's a fresh fragrance. This is one, ironically enough, for warmer fall days and for the daytime. It might look rich and heavy, maybe sweet and dark. No, this is kind of fresh and bright and clean with a little bit of sweetness in there. In fact, the first time I sprayed it, I was reminded of Rouge a little bit in the air, just for a quick second. There's this sweet muskiness that kind of wraps up the scent, this amber wood vibe, which is very trendy, which is very popular, which is very effective. A lot of people like it, so I understand why they used it. It just makes it smell like other things. On top of that, lots of mandarin orange. There's quite a bit of spice from pink pepper. There's maybe some florals in there in the heart. But beyond that, it's a simple scent that doesn't really smell very unique. I wouldn't even call it necessarily special. It is high quality simplicity. It's what I would call a niche, mass appealing fragrance. That might seem a little bit contradictory, but I think if you smell it, you'll kind of understand what I mean. So I'm not sure how I feel about Lucius yet. I don't hate it. I just don't think it's all that special, and it's not an easy recommendation for me just yet, but maybe that'll change as I get to know it better. All right, we've got another revisit here. I've talked about this one a little bit in the last few years, but it's been some time. It's been at least a year since I busted this one out, since I even wore it. But it's a fragrance that I do really enjoy because it's very unique while being very characteristic of a fall time scent. It's just perfectly fall. This is from an Italian brand that maybe you don't know. It's called Farmacia SS Annunziata. I never say that quite right, but I think that's close. And this is called Whisky Nobile. Whisky Nobile is beautiful stuff. This is a very unique whiskey fragrance. Man, I get this dry, almost dusty, chocolatey whiskey note. There's cacao blended with whiskey that kind of gets you that feel. So it's almost wet, boozy, but has again this dry, chocolatey, earthy dustiness that characterizes the scent. Honestly, when you first smell it, especially from a blotter, it might remind you a little bit of grape in a very strange way. But as you let it sit and live on your skin and just smell it around you, that goes away quickly, and it's chocolate booze, so to speak, but also with some coffee. A warm coffee note, almost roasted feeling. There's some leather, there's some incense. It's such, again, a perfect fall fragrance that's not too heavy, but definitely substantial and so interesting. If you're looking for niche, then I would check this one out. That's Whisky Nobile from the name of the brand I said earlier. I'm not going to butcher it again. We have new and exciting. And as I alluded to earlier, this is a fragrance I haven't even opened yet. I think I've smelled it years ago, probably in a perfumery, but I don't remember. So I'm happy to get my nose on this one because I think this is kind of a beloved one from the house of Acqua di Parma. I've really been expanding my Acqua di Parma collection. I'll need to do a ranking video for them soon. This is Colonia Oud. How about we get into it? We got a 100 milliliter bottle here. This is new and exciting. Oh yeah, that's lovely. Not too oody, so nothing skanky, nothing edgy here, but definitely woody, definitely dry, sweet and warm spicy, something almost powdery, but not too much. Now, while it is pretty smooth, there is something a little bit rough about it. Just a touch, not really animalic, but texturally, there's some friction here. I want to check out these notes because again, I don't know anything about this fragrance. We got notes of bergamot, orange, we have oud, coriander, and amyris, and cedarwood, patchouli, musk, and sandalwood. Guys, this is good stuff. This is a very unique but wearable, elegant evening time fall fragrance. I cannot wait to get to know this better. Definitely exciting for sure. Let me know if you're a fan of Colonia Oud. And our final fragrance is not sure yet. I wasn't sure if I wanted to end on a questionable note, but I figured let's just keep it interesting. This is not a bad fragrance at all. I do actually really like it. My only reservation with it is that it's a little redundant. It does remind me of other fragrances from this house. So again, not an easy recommendation, but gonna get to know it better. Gonna really spend some time this fall. Old Fashioned from Kilian, I believe came out 2024. A relatively new-ish release, but not their newest release by any means. It's good stuff. It's warm and spicy. It's sweet. It's definitely a little boozy. It's very woody. Very, very woody, but it doesn't necessarily smell like an old fashioned to me. At least it doesn't remind me of one. And that's fine, I guess, if you don't care too much about the name. But if you do care about the name and cohesion and all that stuff, then yeah, maybe it's a little problematic. But to me, it's just an easy to wear, semi-elegant, cool weather fall fragrance. Not one that I would call special, primarily because it reminds me of another Kilian that I like, which is Apple Brandy on the Rocks. It's not exactly that. Apple Brandy on the Rocks is a little bit more crisp, maybe a little bit fresher, more cooling in a way with that on the rocks accord that they use, but almost equally as woody and sweet. Kind of the same type of woodiness and sweetness from that is in this. Very dry, almost like an oak barrel type of woodiness. So it's a robust scent profile. It does have personality to it, but the fact that it is seemingly in line with a couple of other fragrances that came out before it. Another one is called Single Malt, and people say that this one smells even more like that than it does apple brandy on the rocks. Just the fact that we have two very strong comparisons within the house itself. Yeah, a little redundant. Maybe we didn't need this one, but not a bad scent. Once again, does have some redeeming qualities about it. So I look forward to getting to know this better, and I look forward to wearing all of these fragrances this fall. I want to know what you think if you've tried them. Let me know down in the comments.